What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Lost Holocron podcast. It's been a minute, especially since the end of Ahsoka. But I am your host, Didge, and with me, as always, is the homie AJ. AJ, how you doing today?
Living my best life. Got work in the morning, but I'll survive.
Ooh, I don't know if that's living your best life, but as long as you'll survive, that's all that matters. And talking about living your best life, the strikes are over.
About time.
It's huge news. I'm so glad that the strikes are over. I know we talked about it a bit the other day on the Chatter After Daily, but you were not in attendance. You were in the comments. So I want to give you a chance first before we talk about how that impacts Star Wars projects to just how do you feel about the strike being over?
All right. So first off, the strikes being over is about damn time. Um, I really don't like how it took so long. What was it? 118 days it took
Yes,
for the active
118
strike,
days.
just
And I think
because.
106 for the writers.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I
that
think
ended
so.
earlier, but you know,
God, yeah, that was annoying. I don't really like how long it took for them to deal everything out, and I think it was because of the AI situation that it took so long.
for
I'm
sure.
like, oh, Jesus Christ, why? Like, y'all lost out on so much money in the past 116 days just to get this one deal done, and it's mind-boggling what these studio heads are thinking. Like, a lot of them are idiots and they're just in charge of all of this, and it just blows my mind. But anyway, what I think, now that it's over, we're about to finally get all these movies and shows for Star Wars back on track.
Definitely.
Yes.
And to start off with that, that's a perfect transition. I want to talk Andor first. This show was one that, at the times of the strike, they were already able to go into, I think they did like another 2 or 3 weeks of shooting because they had a lot of non SAG actors, like a lot of scenes for non SAG actors.
Hmm.
And they had reportedly only had 2 weeks of principal shooting and general left. So it sounds like they should theoretically be right on track to still hit their rumored August 2024 release. But obviously, that doesn't take in time for
Yeah,
any type of post production,
production.
any
Yeah,
reshoots needed. How confident are you in that one? A lot of stuff has moved.
yep.
Andor hasn't. A lot of stuff they've announced just even prior to strike ending. Hey, this is moving, and you kind of knew why. It's
Hmm.
curious when they haven't given a date yet, I guess, but they haven't said anything. Do you think, are you confident about any of that still standing?
Well, the fact that it never had a release date is fine with me. I like that because because it doesn't. They're not going to tell us that it's been pushed back or pushed forward. So thank God they didn't. They never gave us a release date for that. So a lot of Star Wars fans, including us, won't think that it's a bad thing that was pushed back because it never had a release date to begin with.
Right.
So that's one thing. Do I? I'm pretty sure they had like a release date in mind, but I feel like that release date won't happen because of what happened during the strikes and all of that. So, like you were just talking about post production stuff, that's a lot to be factored in into this series. A lot of the writing is already done, or I'm pretty sure all of the writing is done. So,
Yeah, whatever, I guess, other than whatever writing they may do, like just on set rewrites to just like touch up a scene or something.
mhm. Yeah,
But
so we have that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's pretty much done. So I don't really have to worry about that as much. But like you said, they could probably touch it up a little bit. But right now, Andor seems like the closest thing. I don't want to say the closest thing. You know what? Yes, the closest thing that's will probably be released first, other than like the Acolyte, which has already started filming, because we already know, thanks to the leaks that's been out for during Star Wars Celebration. So we already know that that's already been filming as well. So that. I feel like we're in a good direction right now for Star Wars.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think this is probably a 2025 release now. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Um like you said, a lot of post-production stuff is still needed. Whatever reshoots are going to come up are going to be needed, and if it comes to, hey, we're either have to fast track this and potentially cut corners, or you just got to wait a little longer and we'll make sure that it's to the quality of the first season, I'd rather them just do that.
Yeah.
um I think you brought up the Acolyte, and I think that's a perfect transition because this is one I am very confident is coming. It has to come next year.
It has to.
Especially because they finished filming June of last year, or June of this year, actually. I mean, so they would have theoretically been doing post production this entire time. And one of the things that may have been delaying it is just you couldn't get a true press run.
Yeah.
So now that you can go full on out, get your full press run, get everything to the point where there's already anticipation for it, but now you can sort of continue to build that anticipation. I'm fairly confident that this is coming out. I don't know when in 2024. I was trying to look at the Disney Plus release schedule because I feel like it's kind of light.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like in the second quarter. I'll probably say like
I was thinking, yeah, I guess, yeah,
April,
May. I
May,
was
no,
thinking
May,
May.
June. Yeah. I don't, it'll probably hit that because I am reading up right now. The Acolyte has wrapped, entered
Yeah,
post production, but that's when the strike started to happen. So
right.
they'll still have a little bit of touch up to do with post production, a lot with the visuals, a lot with all that other stuff, the sound direction, all of that. They will have to still work on a little bit. Uh, I'll take it back. It's probably gonna be near the end of the year.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be near the end of the year of 2024.
2020, so near end of
So
2024.
I think we're gonna have one show for Star Wars in 2024, and then there's gonna be like 2 or 3 shows for 2025. I'll say two shows for 2025.
Okay. So it's tough for me to say one show because the third show we need to talk about that has also wrapped filming is the Skeleton Crew. That was
Yeah,
supposed to come out this year. And
that's true.
everything with the strike obviously pushed that back, leading me to believe that's coming out. If it's not coming out first quarter next year, it's coming out also next year. And I don't think you sit on two shows that you've already wrapped filming for to not release them and just to keep pushing.
I I don't know. I feel like there's still a lot to be done with that show post production. Like a lot of these shows, it's more so post production wise where they have to focus a lot on because, like we already mentioned, they already finished filming. They already finished doing all of those type of things.
Right.
Um, but I just feel like they really didn't do much before before the strikes happened, so they really couldn't do anything within the
Well, luckily
visuals.
with post production, you were theoretically able to kind of work throughout the strike. You know, you unless you had to do reshoots and all of
That
that,
is fair.
your
That is
VFX workers, they were able to continue working. Um, any type of sound design, all of that still
that
was
is true.
going
That is true.
on.
Yeah, it was just the
It's
writers.
just
Yeah.
how much reshoots or anything do you need to go? So I'm curious. I apparently there was a filing with the U.S. Copyright Office that said approximate release in January 2024 for Skeleton Crew. So if
You said
anything,
when? January?
January 2024, which is crazy because I feel like we would have heard something. But
Oh,
I guess, you know, strike was going on. You can't have any of your actors say anything. We'll figure out, you know, in the coming weeks.
that is true. That is true. For That's true. Yeah, I was then we might have two shows in 2024 then with Skeleton Crew, but I feel like they're not gonna be. If there is gonna be two shows, I don't think they're gonna be far apart from each other. Then
Well,
I'll
that's why I
probably
was thinking May for Acolyte.
okay.
You know, they always love to do a release of something around May
Yeah,
4th. So,
that is also true. Yes.
and with the Skeleton Crew thing, like I said, it's someone just happened to find that I don't crazy fan just searching the copyright office database, I guess, and seeing like, yo, what is this? But
I will say then, since it did say January 24th, I would say it's going to get pushed back a little bit. I'm not going to say by a lot. I'll probably say by like a couple months.
that's
So instead of
fair.
January, I'll probably say like March or April,
That's
maybe.
fair.
And then you have the Acolyte, be like June, July. I could see.
I
So
could see that.
there's
Yeah,
that.
you're like you said, in sort of into the end of the first quarter, going and then have the second one sort of mid year. That's honestly not a bad idea.
Let's bookmark it.
That's
My prediction. Let's bookmark it. My prediction: Skeleton Crew, April or May. And then you
all
have the
right.
Acolyte. Um,
July or August.
July, August.
All
Yes,
right.
that is my prediction right there for
We'll
2024.
come back. We'll come back to this, and if we get an announcement in like 3 weeks, like yeah, Skeleton Crew, 3rd of January, and it's like damn, all right. One show we know for sure that is not coming next year, that hasn't even started production, is The Mandalorian.
Whew.
But we know there's going to be a season 4. We know
Yep.
that production was supposed to start in September. Obviously, it couldn't due to the strikes. I don't even know how much of it was written prior to that, obviously due to the WGA strike,
Yeah.
but um we're beyond that now. I don't know where we're sitting with this, but what I wanted to talk about is where do you think season 4 is going to go? We know where Ahsoka ended up. We know where Mando season 3 ended up. We know that at one point they wanted to tell the story of Rangers of the Lost Republic or Rangers of the New Republic with Cara Dune, and obviously whatever happened, we know what happened with that situation. But it kind of felt like Mando season 3 was setting up similar vibes. So I'm curious as to where you think this season could go, and obviously it all has to culminate in the Filoni film.
Hmm.
It's just all up in the air. I'm really interested.
Okay. So by the end of Ahsoka, what we got was they finally. Oh, spoiler alert! They
Definitely
finally
spoiler if you haven't seen
got.
Ahsoka. You should have watched that long ago, but
Some people like to do things slowly, so
right,
it's fine. It's fine. So I'll just say this: we finally got Ezra back,
right.
um, and he escaped Thrawn, but Thrawn also escaped. So we also have that. I will say that season 4 will dive a little bit deeper with Thrawn and how that'll affect the galaxy as a whole. I wouldn't say that that'll happen during the beginning of the season, probably like near the middle to the end of
Okay.
that season. Um, so there's that. Now we also still have to worry about how Ahsoka and Sabine is going to get out of the new area. The new area. I don't even know what the area is called right now. I can't think of it.
Is it
Um,
Paradia?
it might be.
Oh,
We'll
I
go
can't
with that
remember.
for right now.
Yeah.
We'll so I feel like Hera is gonna ask for help from either Mando, or sorry, Den, and he'll try to figure out a way to get to that specific spot as well. So I think there's a lot of the. So I think a lot of the season 4 is going to come strictly direct after the Ahsoka series. That's what I think, at least.
That's fair. I I I think you're right. I know Katie Sackhoff. She shared like some behind the scenes from Mandalorian season 3, just on her Instagram, and it felt like she was dropping a hint about her, her appearing in season 4. We shall see. Um, Obviously, the state of everything right now is just it's kind of up in the air. We're 3-4 days removed from the strikes ending, and it feels like just in general with Hollywood, they're kind of trying to readjust to see where do the chips fall. What's gonna happen here, what's gonna happen there, what's gonna get moved up, what's not gonna happen just in general. And there are some interesting rumors that are still afloat in that regard. One of the rumors is, and I can't even think you can call it a rumor at this point. I mean, the man flat out said it in an interview with Entertainment Tonight. Is that what they're called? I don't remember the publication. Like, I don't, the ET.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Feige was speaking with them, and it was in the lead up to the Loki finale and the Marvels release. And at the end of the interview, the lady just straight up asked him, "What about your Star Wars?" Well, she said, "What about Star Wars?" And first off, he was like, "Just in general," and he looked kind of confused, like, "Why are you asking me about this?" And then she clarified and was like, "Well, no."
He was like, "Wrong producer, my guy. Wrong."
Definitely felt like he wanted to be like, "Do you know who you're talking to?" Like, it was really funny. But then obviously she clarified and was like, "Well, no, your Star Wars film, is that still happening?" And he just flat out no, and that was it. So I honestly forgot what his film was supposed to be about, but doesn't matter anymore. We know it's not coming. It's joining that list of seems like the growing list of Star Wars projects that are being canceled. The second rumor that's coming out of it, and I think it's something that some fans were hoping for, is an Ahsoka season 2. Deadline was speaking just on the first season as it stood as a whole, and sort of where do you go from here, and it kind of sounded like there were some rumblings of a season 2 potentially happening. Obviously this was all during the strike, so we'll have to wait in the coming weeks to see if there's any type of follow-up. But knowing that we're supposed to be moving strictly to this film, are you here for an Ahsoka season 2 to sort of bridge that gap? I think we all talked about how many open threads there were.
Yeah.
And how it's going to be wild to try to do this in a film if it's not like a film trilogy or anything.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I completely forgot that they announced the second season of Ahsoka. I completely forgot about that. So the thing that I was saying with the Mandalorian season 4, just throw that out the window.
Throw that out for Ahsoka season 2. Okay.
Throw that out the window. I don't know what they're gonna do for season 4 of Mando then, but yeah, of course they haven't started writing for Ahsoka.
Oh, of course not.
But I did see that Mandalorian season 4 has already been finished writing. The writing has already been finished.
Oh, so, man, Jon Favreau was working.
Yeah, he said he finished that after like the season finale of season 3.
Oh, so he wrote it prior to the strike.
Yeah, before the season 3 even concluded. So he even did it way before season 3 even finished.
Wow.
So that's something.
So that might be coming sooner than we think.
Still got some time because
it's still 2025 at least. Let's be honest.
Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff going to come out in 2025. Right. It's going to be a ridiculous year for Star Wars, Marvel.
Well, that's because it's at some point next year is going to get really light. Like we were talking about it the other day. Marvel, like, Sony has like 3 or 4 of their Marvel movies coming out, but strictly like an MCU movie, Deadpool 3 is the only one that's on the release schedule for next year.
I feel like something else is going to be pushed up to 2024. That's what I feel like right now.
That's fair, but as it stands right now, I have no idea.
Yeah, they did say they're gonna have a lot of rewrites for Captain America too. So there's that. Right now, thanks to these strikes, everything's like movie wise it's just giving me like a straight up headache because
because
I have no idea
you just
what's
don't
happening.
know. Like
Yes.
it's crazy. And I mean, in sakes for sakes of just the quality, like everybody's been talking about, well, you kind of need to take more time because the quality's felt like it's been dipping for everything.
Yeah.
It's great in that regard, but just as a pure fan who's just kind of wants to see all of this stuff, it's like,
Need it
damn,
now. I need it.
right, right.
Mm. Yeah,
So
it's but like you just said it. Quality wise, specifically for Marvel right now, it feels like with every news that's coming out with Marvel, it's like focusing on we're doing like a rebrand basically.
yeah,
We're refreshing everything. We're not gonna have as much shows every year. We're not gonna have as much movies every year. They're gonna cut back and focus more on quality, even though that's code for saving up money.
oh,
But
for sure.
it'll still have like a quality effect to it, so that's fine either way. But that's strictly Marvel right now. Star Wars, we haven't heard very much since Star Wars Celebration, so
And there's not even going to be a Star Wars celebration this year to like
until
get that
2025. Yeah.
right. So so it's like, yeah, I guess for 2024 I should say. But like, yeah, it's one of those things where you become so hungry for, well, what's the next thing,
Hmm.
because you just became ingrained that, like, well, these big projects or these big studios, especially for these big franchises, they just pump it out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I know I was talking with Joanne the other day, and we were talking about how it kind of might be a good thing, because remember when everything felt like an event, and now it just kind of feels like the next thing. I'm kind of ready for things to get back to feeling like an event. I'm gonna be honest, and I think that excites me. But you also got to have the quality with that, because then you get pissed if it's like
Yeah.
you waited and it's not there.
I don't think it's the fact that it needs to be an event. I think it's just the fact that it needs to be good again. Like
It's fair,
we get a lot of stuff like look at Amazon for example. We've got a lot of the boys content out right now. There's a lot and nobody's complaining about that, but we're still getting a lot of boys content. Um what else? We're
I can see what
getting
you mean.
we're not complaining about the Invincible. We're going to keep on getting those type of things.
Right,
Everybody loves it. I don't think it's the fact that we need to get as little as possible to make it feel like an event, like a huge event. I think it just needs to sure we should cut down at least like 2% of the content that we're getting
right.
to control that quality that everybody wants. But it shouldn't be to the fact that we need to like do like one movie a year. Two is fine. I think two is a sweet spot. Like two movies, two shows we could do a year, not like one movie, one and then and there's gonna be a whole bunch of people complaining like we're not getting as much Marvel content. We're not getting as much Star Wars content.
That's
It's
always true.
I just feel like there's always going to be like room for complaint regardless. That's why I think that too is a good soft spot for Marvel content where you can spread out the shows, two shows. That's probably like what 6 months of content worth right there.
Yeah,
Um, and then you have movies that can be in between the shows as well. And but it'll also feel like it's very focused on that quality that so a lot more people won't get as tired of mediocre movies and
right.
shows, but always have fun throughout the year.
That's fair. I think it's one of those things where it's the superhero fatigue gets thrown around, or Star Wars fatigue gets thrown around, and to your point of those other properties, like you said, like The Boys or Invincible, you get a lot of those too, like you said, and it's just because you don't get it. It's not fatigue. It's just you're tired of mediocre content.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I just want good stuff again. So I think that's kind of where we leave it with that. It's just
Yeah.
look, keep making good stuff. Ahsoka, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the last season of Mandalorian. Just keep making stuff that has me entertained, and I'll be happy.
I'm happy right now. So
Right,
the Marvels
right.
was great.
The
Loki
Marvel,
season 2 was a
right,
huge success.
right.
Nobody's complaining now.
No, that's
Before
a,
that was
I think I posted it in the Discord. I was like,
yeah,
Marvel really said we're gonna get right to end out the year. You love
yeah.
to see it.
Like
Like,
everybody was like, "Hey, slow down." But as soon as Loki season 2, they are all hyped. They were like, "Forget that. Give me some more of this."
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. So to bring it back, to get back to another thing that I know has been a huge success for Star Wars just in general. Let's talk the High Republic. They're going into their third phase, Trials of the Jedi, and that's starting with the Eye of Darkness.
Yeah,
Now, I'm still in the second phase. I ain't gonna hold you. I still need to finish all of those novels.
it's a lot. Yeah.
So I wanted to give you this floor to talk about just sort of where you are. 'Cause I think you're completely caught up. You're buying this next week, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, fair. So let's give you the floor to sort of talk about the High Republic as a whole and why somebody, if they haven't been reading, why they should be. I think
Okay.
that's a good place for it.
Okay. So, what's a good way to start this? I'm gonna give out a hot take real quick.
All right, all right.
I feel like this is a perfect chance to give out a hot take. The High Republic is a better story device than the prequels ever was. Better story
Ooh.
device than the original trilogy was, and a better story device than the sequel trilogy was. Now, to be fair, it is only in comics right now and novels, and we only have one animated show. I feel like the novels give us a lot of detail on all the characters that we've gotten so far. It gives us a lot more information within the Star Wars lore. Not too far back where it's focusing on the Old Republic, but it's far enough to stay away from the Skywalker saga that everybody loves, but at the same time, a lot of people are getting tired of at just a little bit. I would say just a little bit. Um,
Yeah, I can see that. There's no. I didn't want to say tired of because I was like I was gonna say I'm one of them, but I'm not like that's 100% tired of it. But
okay,
it's just like
tired. I guess
no,
tired is the
tired
strong
of it is
word.
right. I couldn't think of any other adjective. Tired of it.
Okay.
You're like all I keep going back to is just there's so much other stuff. Give me other stuff.
Yeah. So right now, like focusing on the High Republic era, it just feels so much refreshing. But it's still a lot of content where you can like just be absorbed within the world. Right now we got like 5 or 6 books for phase one, Light of the Jedi, 5 or 6 books plus the comics for phase two, and then we have phase three coming up very soon. Phase one focuses a lot. What's a hundred? No, probably like around 230 years before Battle of Yavin, and then phase two goes back even a little bit further by 100 years. So it's around 300, 330 BBY, and then phase three goes back to phase one, how it ended in phase one. So it's going to focus a lot more during the aftermath of the destruction of the Starlight Beacon, um, which is really, really cool. I really like what they're doing with that. And I don't know if a lot of people agree with me, but the Starlight Beacon is like the biggest project known in the Star Wars galaxy after the why can't I remember the name?
I don't know where you're gonna go with this, so I can't
the
help.
the planet, the Star Destroyer. There we go, the Star Destroyer.
Okay.
And what the Starlight Beacon is just like is a beacon of hope for the entire galaxy. And then that gets destroyed, and like all the Jedi are like in this dark place right now, thanks to right now their nemesis. Um, crap. Now I'm just there's a lot going on right now.
There's a lot going on. I
Yes,
we can definitely leave it at that and just let them know. Like
the
you've given a lot of
Nihil. Sorry,
information.
the
No,
Nihil.
it's cool. It's cool. Um, it's a series that is worth reading for anybody who is
Hmm.
interested in Star Wars, who wants to learn more about just the overall universe, and wants to dive deeper beyond just sort of what you're giving on screen.
Yeah.
Just like with anything, they're like, say if you're an anime watcher and you're like, well, I want to go deeper than that, or you can dive into the world of manga. If you're a comic book movie watcher, obviously you can dive into the world of the comic books.
Yeah.
For Star Wars movie watchers or even TV shows, whatever, whenever you want to dive deeper, there's a rich history of Star Wars novels, Star Wars comic books, just written material that expands your just world building so much more. It's very good to read. I definitely recommend it for anybody.
Here's a summary, a little summary of what the Eye of Darkness is, and it's by George Mann, who did Battle Jeddah, Quest of the Hidden City, and Nameless Terror, which are all Star Wars High Republic novels. And it says the galaxy is divided following the shock and destruction of the Starlight Beacon. The Nihil have established and mm, an
Occlusion
impenetrable,
zone.
yeah, basically the inclusion zone, called the Storm Wall, around part of the Outer Rim, with Marcion Rowe rules and his followers wreak havoc at his every whim. Jedi trapped behind enemy lines, including Avar Kriss, must fight to help the worlds being pillaged by the Nihil, while staying one step ahead of the Marauders and their nameless terrors. And that was from Random House Worlds. So,
And if you want one other reason why, if you are planning to watch The Acolyte,
mhm.
there is the High Republic character Renestra Rowe. I don't know. I could be pronouncing that last name
No,
wrong. I've
yeah, you
always
said
said
it right.
Rowe. I ain't gonna lie. The W I just ignored, but just always ignored the W. But she will be appearing in Acolyte. So like I said, it'll increase the world built so much, and there are, even if there's small steps that are being used to bring it all together.
What I like about the High Republic series is that the enemies are like they're more hands on than what Palpatine ever was. Like they're the people that's actually fighting instead of using an equipment to end the galaxy. They're more hands on type of villains, which makes it more interesting because during this time period, the Jedi really haven't had that type of connection against an enemy that's as dangerous, but at the same time doesn't have the same powers as them. So the Nihil move around a lot smarter than any of the enemies ever before, which is really cool to see or read. Sorry.
See, I feel like they would have got what you meant if you just left it at C. That's
Yeah.
fair. So, in our last thing, we're gonna wrap it up with what I'm calling our collector's corner. Something we haven't really done before, but obviously there's a rich history of collection with Star Wars, and our friends over at Hot Toys, aka it seems like you're collecting shop of choice. You always show us Hot Toys in the
Greatness.
Discord.
Hold on.
Uh,
Hold on. Greatness.
that is great.
Hot
I'll give you
Toys.
that. I'll give you that. Well, they have four more great figures coming out. starting with they have Hera coming. This looks amazing. They also have Thrawn.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. They have Merrick, which this is cool that it's gonna be LED, so that way you can really see the glow.
More than likely it won't be LED.
It says
Unless
LED
it says,
lightsaber.
does it say? Okay.
Yeah, LED
Sometimes
lightsaber.
they like show it in the display, but it doesn't like give you.
Now look, unless they're lying, because the Sabine one also says LED.
Okay, and
They're
then
both
we're getting
supposedly.
LED.
So you let me know. I already know you probably got all of these on pre-order.
No, not yet. Not yet.
I mean, not yet. But these are all really cool, and I gotta get me. I gotta at least get me one or two of these. I know their prices are kind of up there. I need to make sure they do payment plans.
They do.
Okay, that's
Yeah, they
good.
do. I think the cheapest one is like $50 a month.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, I need something that can work in my budget. But I think I want to in the future just do a full-on collectibles episode of sort of like the history of Star Wars collectibles, sort of show how valuable some of the stuff is and all of that. Like, did you see the I think it was the C-3PO gold head just sold for like 1.2 million?
I did not see that. I probably do not want to see it. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I mean, granted, it was at auction.
Okay.
But yeah, it was. Let me show you the picture of the actual. So it's literally this C-3PO gold head. I think it's a full-on prop from the.
Oh, okay. So I was about to ask, is it like a replica or is it
No,
on
this
set
is.
type of thing?
I'm pretty sure it's a full-on prop from A New Hope, and yeah, it's sold
Oh, so
for
it's up to
1.2
scale.
million.
It's up to scale.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's something totally different. I thought it was like something smaller, and it was like
No,
1.2. Okay.
this
That
is
makes sense.
literally the helmet. I think actually Anthony Daniels might be selling it. So the actor who played C-3PO
Mhm.
there, he might actually be the one selling it. But yeah, I mean 1.2 million. So the business of Star Wars collectibles is
That's
definitely
still crazy.
booming.
That's still crazy.
It's look, man.
I can give you $200
I mean, I'm with you.
plus a payment plan.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. So I definitely want to talk about that in the future. Maybe we could find us a collector who has a decent one, and he can sort of show us some of the stuff that are in their. They can sort of show us like some of the stuff that are in their collection, because that'll be I feel like that'll be a fun episode. But you were right. This is going to be a short one. There's not a lot of rumors and stuff. The strikes are just coming to a close.
We're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there. Hopefully news is gonna start coming in. But until next time, I've been Didge. That has been AJ. We appreciate you guys all listening. We are out. Peace.
Peace.